play it.
Okay. Hey, 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 chicken corn on the cocaine. Nah, nah. Hey, hey, chicken Hey, 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 chicken corn on the cocaine. And nah, nah. Hey, chicken Hey, 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 chicken corn on the cocaine.
Dude. Huge fan of that guy.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe my absolute new favorite person.
He's my spirit animal.
The best part is you were like, I love how you told me that you're like, I got to show you a video. And then I kind of interrupted you because I had shit that I needed to actually talk about that was serious.
Yeah.
So I was like, hold that thought. And then you just randomly walked up to me. You're like, no, like, here's the video. Watch this really ridiculous human being.
Yeah.
Sing this really ridiculous song. The guy.
Yeah. What's his name? Something Monstering. Something Monstering.
He's just a meth head with like a weird like Jeepers Creepers hat on.
Yeah.
I admire the shit out of it.
That basically scats. I mean, that's what he's doing.
Yeah,
right?
it is. It
He's
is like
scatting.
it is scat. It is scat.
He probably scats outside a lot. Because I don't think he has a home.
Scats on scats.
Yeah.
Chicken in the corn and the cocaine.
Maybe he's not saying chicken at all. He's saying shitting in the corn with cocaine.
Shitting in the corn. I'm on cocaine.
He was probably taking a shit in a cornfield and thought of a song.
Probably. The song is,
Oh,
dare I say, it's insanely addicting.
it is, isn't it?
Which is maddening to me because it actually kind of drives me nuts, like how addicting it is.
Yeah, and it's way better than any Justin Bieber or like Ariana Grande's.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like...
Well, the caption says, going to bed at like 10:30.
Yeah,
and then it says me at 1:30.
Yeah.
And you said, this is literally me every night. Which is funny because like anybody who doesn't know you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
But I know that your brain just fires all the time and you get really bored in your own head very often. So like for me, I can totally see that being the case.
Yeah, I always randomly make up shit too. Like I'll
Super
sing
funny.
random shit.
Yeah.
I'm always doing it with Kale.
I used to do it more when I was younger, but now I think my brain is occupied with too much other stuff that doesn't really happen anymore. It happened a lot when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like a lot. But it's just not as like, it's not as common for me to just have these like real random spurts of song like I used to.
Did you notice how I'm like posing?
Yeah.
Like this is how a pretentious person holds his...
What are we drinking?
bourbon.
Old Forester Bottle and Bond. Which I got this bottle like maybe 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. And so the first Old Forester that I had, who did I get it from? I got it from a cigar I got it from a cigar manufacturer. Who was it? I think it's the marketing firm that did stuff for who was it? I forget. Anyway, they sent me that Old Forester 100 up there, which I actually really liked. I'm like, oh, I like Old Forester. And then I started like researching more. And this was right when I was getting into bourbons.
Yeah.
And then I started reaching Old Forester more. And then you have the Statesman, Bottle and Bond, Prohibition is another one I have up there that has that little blue stripe, the teal one in the background.
Yeah.
That fucking...
Dude.
That bourbon is insanely good.
Let's just take a moment here to like smell it and try to really pick up what notes we're getting.
So you should pour a little in your hand and clap your hand and rub it and then smell it.
Like
and
a
then,
cologne?
And then do that like 4 or 5 times. And then keep smelling it.
I feel like that's just me being messy.
No, that's a real thing. Buffalo Trace does that as part of their tour. Because each time you do it and you smash it, like, and you rub it in your hands, you get there's like different flavor notes that
that's
come about.
interesting.
It's no different than like some bourbons. If you drop like 1 or 2 drops of water in it, completely changes the flavor profile of the bourbon.
Do you want to know how to smell?
It's like with cigars. Although, you know what? I would argue that if you were to be very specific with flavors of bourbon, it would make more sense than people who get super specific on flavors in cigars.
Yeah. You ready?
Because this is actually made with real shit that's not just tobacco. It's made with corn, wheat, barley.
I get a sense of Appalachia.
Did you just cheers your microphone?
Yeah. I get a fresh sense of pine and black bear.
Do you think
soaking in a big vat of formaldehyde? That might be the alcohol smell.
No, probably. Would it be too much for us to cheers each other? Would that be like a COVID no? Like if we were to
I
cheers,
don't give a shit.
Let's do it. Cheers.
I think we've been smoking around each other enough.
We have actually. We've seen more of each other given the whole perimeter ban.
I know.
You and I've seen more of each other in the past 3 weeks than we ever have.
I know.
I mean, we see each other pretty often, but it's like we've actually hung out. Because the thing is like if we hung out, it would be at the lounge.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Which is around other people, which we do multiple times a week. But now it's like my house became the lounge. And then you're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, just come over. And then we hang out till 8 o'clock.
And I'm in a non-smoking community, which I've been warned about.
Yeah, because I actually really wanted to go to your apartment and smoke.
Yeah.
Like I was actually excited to do that. And
we still can. It's just going to be late.
I kind of want to test the water. They're not going to fine you the first time if you do it. And I do agree with you that if it's like a warm night and it's late, no one's gonna
do anything.
Yeah, no one's gonna see you. It's not gonna be like a big deal.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be walking around.
No different than the people blasting their fucking music as loud as they can downstairs.
Does that happen?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would drive me nuts. Yeah, that would be like that would be an attendant no. I would not be.
It's like they have like a decent sound system, and then the bass is turned up to 100%, and every time it hits a low note, it's like.
Yeah.
It's like shaking the floor. You're like, fuck you.
I wouldn't do well with that.
Yeah, it's annoying.
I didn't like that when we lived at the condo after you left. There was that one whore who occupied the space upstairs with her daughter, and her daughter always played bumping music till like way late in the morning. That used to piss me the fuck off. Yeah. Like just no sense of like anyone else being around, you know? Yeah. But I did see her mom's tits.
Now.
Because she never wore a bra and she always bent over and you could see her hooters.
It was a Friday, so I can't really get them too hard. It was like a Friday night. But it was still one of those things where it's like.
But this is in coronavirus time.
This is in coronavirus.
So it's like, what are they partying? What are they doing? They're not partying with anyone, are they?
Nah, I guess.
Are there a lot of people in your community that like, do they have people over a lot, or like people? Actually...
Oh yeah, it's a mix of old single people and.
It's a nice place. I think it really does weed out the riffraff a little bit.
And young couples who probably don't make enough but still want to afford an expensive apartment.
Yeah,
for
sure.
That's what it is.
They're really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them.
And I'm the in-betweener.
Yeah. I don't suspect you'll be there more than this year.
I won't be there more than a year.
I mean, even though the place is really nice, it's just not conducive for what you want long term. So
no, not at all.
Where are you going to move? Are you going to move south, do you think?
I'm going to move south.
I kind of want you to move so I have an excuse to move.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Dude, Kentucky's bomb.
I like Kentucky. You know what I wanted to do? Nice. I told Lauren I would love to live in Kentucky because there are no rules. Like my boss, the president of my company, his second home is in Kentucky, 5 minutes from Buffalo Trace, and he loves it.
Dude, he's
on a lake. Like you get property inexpensive. You can live in these little small towns, but you're still close to things that you need that are everything's pretty accessible.
You're only 30 minutes from like shit.
I would actually love to live in southern Kentucky, so I'm close to the border of Tennessee. Actually, anything that gets me closer to Nashville, because you could live in Louisville, and at that point you're only 2 hours away from Nashville. Yeah, it's like. Dude, that would be perfect for me.
Dude.
I can live anywhere in the country now.
Dude,
with my job.
Should get a farm.
Oh, God, I would love to, man.
Chicken.
I would go to Kentucky in a heartbeat.
Yeah, buy some chickens. Even do a fucking cornfield. And then, I
don't really want livestock.
And then you hang out there and you're just walking around.
I wouldn't mind grazing animals because they help mow the grass for you. Like cattle would be kind of cool. But I would only want cattle with tits because I want to milk them. I don't want to kill them.
I would see my flock of beautiful chicken run into my cornfield, and then I'd be like, now I get it.
Now I get it. Now
chicken
I understand.
And a cocaine. Chicken.
What if someone does like a slow down version of that and they start to understand everything he says and everything he's saying in there is like what he does in life?
Probably.
Like chicken and the corn, like he's a farmer.
Yeah,
but then he also does immense amounts of cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or cornbread. I'm not sure which one it is yet.
Ooh, cornbread.
Cocaine cornbread.
Could be cornbread.
Yeah. I thought it was corn. I thought he was saying like chicken and the corn and the cornbread. Like he was That he was essentially saying, this is my favorite
Can
meal.
I be real with you? He's kind of playing on stereotypes.
Yeah. Chicken in the cone and the watermelon and the grapefruit juice.
That's like a super slave song.
Now here, I made it kind of racy, but he also started it.
He totally
So
started
I'm going to
it.
finish it.
Yeah.
What if he did that? This is like chicken in the cone and the cone.
And I'm pretty sure he's Jamaican, by the way.
He kind of looks like it.
Yeah, but he moved to like Venezuela.
But you can never tell what somebody is when they don't have teeth.
You can tell a lot by a person.
You can't, like if someone's just mush mouth, you have no idea what they are.
Those teeth come from.
Think about it.
Those teeth come from Jamaica.
Like if it was an Italian guy with no teeth and there was also an American guy with no teeth, you wouldn't know what either one of them were.
That's true.
Because smush mouth is smush mouth. It's a whole culture of its own.
It would be easy to eat cornbread with no teeth.
Just mushy. Dude, you can have cocaine. Dude, people rub cocaine on their gums. You don't need teeth for that.
No, you don't.
Chicken's a little more difficult.
Yeah, you have to be shredded.
But if you still had your mandibles, you just didn't have your front teeth. You just mash chicken.
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't need your canines to
I think
tear
that
the
guy's
chicken.
living the life, man. He has no obligations to no one.
I love his Jeepers Creepers outfit. It's so cool. He's a black Jeepers Creepers, which is great. What is that guy's name? Like, what is it? They say he's something.
It's something one string. He literally.
Eddie, I literally said, what I say, Eddie One String?
Yeah, and that's like his name. And then he has a guitar. He has an acoustic guitar, and all he has is the top. All he has is the top E string. That's all he has.
Oh, that's so funny.
And it's like boom, 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 boom.
Like someone produced that for him.
Yeah, like I can't tell if they
Do you think he
condenser
did
mic'd him in that song, like over him.
It's possible.
You know,
or it's not laid over though. That's like him out in a field,
that's
real.
That's him literally, and he's next to a barn.
Yeah.
With hay.
Yeah.
And there's like random people watching him around the fence line.
It's so weird. Like maybe wherever he's from, he's like his country's treasure. Like Manny Pacquiao to the Philippines, he's like whatever fucking small diddly ass country he's from. He's their hero.
He's Jamaica's #1 music artist.
You know what? If I didn't already know how popular reggae was in Jamaica, I would say that's probably accurate. But I'm thinking maybe like Trinidad or like one of those other really obnoxiously small Caribbean countries.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's their person.
He became somebody.
He's done a lot for himself. Minus the meth mouth.
He's traveled the world. Staying in front of large crowds, and it's just him like 50 feet away from people around a bar.
You know what it's like? He's like the coked out version of that Don Carlos guy that we listen to.
Yeah, totally.
That reggae artist. That guy actually travels the world. Yeah. This guy is
this guy doesn't travel, he walks the world.
Oh, he definitely, that's all he doesn't have a fucking penny to his name.
Yeah, you put a big, large body of water in front of him.
Whatever currency his country has, he doesn't have a lot of it.
No. He really doesn't.
It's really funny. Anyway, so getting back to I want to move to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Dude, I would totally be down for that. I want like 20 acres, and I don't even care if I had to build a new home. Even if it's a nice home on a lot of land, I would move to Kentucky literally in a heartbeat.
There's a guy that...
Plus, it gets you a little south. It gets you more into that like nice temperature realm.
Yeah.
Not a lot of snow in Kentucky, especially like southern Kentucky.
Yeah, there's a guy that's like 5 minutes up the street from Kelsey's family, and... he built a container home on top of the hill.
Is his name Eddie One String?
I wish. But it's a container home, and it overlooks the Ohio River, and it's the most gorgeous view.
Yeah, that would be sweet. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to have a place like that. I like the idea now more than I'm older, living in seclusion a little bit, but having access to stuff. Like I would want to live on a place kind of like my president of my company does, like on the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah. Like
just being able to access the things that I love. Premium tobacco's cheap there. Nashville's not that far away. Ohio's not that far away. Bourbon, you're right in the middle of it. Plus, there's not a lot of super remote places in Kentucky, unless you're in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah.
Things are pretty accessible. You can get stuff pretty easily.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would be like a big deal to move down there and then feel like, oh my God, I'm out of the normal world.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all.
That'd be nice. Man, that'd be living the dream. First time in 3 weeks that I put on a pair of jeans.
Really?
Swear to God. I thought maybe I should dress up for the podcast. Because think about last week, I was in my joggers. That's all I've worn, joggers or shorts and sweatshirts. That's all I've worn literally in 2 weeks.
Those joggers that I said I wanted a pair of,
Yeah.
they're not available until like May.
Yeah, everything's May 1st on Amazon right now. Yeah, literally everything is May 1st. They're having a hard time just keeping pace with everything. They're hiring like fucking crazy. What I think is hilarious is that people were actually... There were workers at Amazon that were going to go on strike. I was like, are you nuts? Do you know how many people are out of work right now that would literally take your position in 10 seconds?
Just for like a month or two?
Yeah. They'd be like, okay, go on strike, motherfucker. We're going to hire 10 people to come in here and
I'd wait out for 2 months.
Substitute, you dumbasses.
Yeah, I would suffer through 2 months.
I was like, what are you doing? Like, Amazon's not a bad place to work either. I was like, what are you striking for? They're working you too much? 6.6 million people are on unemployment right now. What do you mean?
Yep.
You're going to go on strike. It doesn't even make sense. Even if you hated your job, don't leave it.
Yeah.
It's a terrible idea. You won't find another job.
You won't find another one, no.
Yeah, times are crazy. It's been nice not talking about coronavirus. Did you watch that Tiger King documentary?
I finished it, yeah.
Cool. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, so Nicolas Cage pillows are pretty dope, aren't they? Show those to the camera. So a friend of mine, a coworker, that's what he got me as my wedding present, which is great because he's one of the funniest human beings I know, naturally. He never tries to be funny. He's just funny. He owns a 300-pound fucking pig that he puts like a cowboy hat on. It's the most adorable thing ever. He got those for me for my wedding. Which Lauren's like, what do we do with these? And I was like,
you put them somewhere.
I was like, there will be a moment in time of which I can use these. And then we did this podcast setup, and I was like, dude, Nicolas Cage pillows. This is absolutely perfect for these couches.
Chicken and a corn and a cocaine and I like
Aren't those hysterical? You know the best part? You know the best part about me having those pillows is that, okay, so think about this. You'll understand it when I say it. I have my webcam up on my monitor, and I'm on video conference calls literally all day, every day.
Same.
You know how many people see those pillows in the background? They go, is that Nicolas Cage on a pillow? And I'm like, it sure as shit is.
He has such a recognizable face.
Yeah. Well, so there one guy, a guy I do business with, he's one of our vendors for installation. His name's John. He actually emailed me because he said something on the video call. He's like, holy shit, those are amazing. And then he sent me a link to all these different you can get like Nicolas Cage pajamas. Like you can get all kinds of Nicolas Cage shit just like that. I mean, this is his face on a pillow, which I think is hysterical. I love having them on the couch. They're fantastic.
They're really sweet.
Nicolas Cage is probably the most overrated, underrated actor in history. Like it's so crazy to me how a guy can make so many good movies, but then also be terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Like Gone in 60 Seconds is one of the most popular movies, but he's arguably just a horrible actor. But then you have like National Treasure, which are super fun to watch, but he's also still a horrible actor.
I think the movies where he's not forced to like go insane.
Yeah, he tries to do too much weird shit.
Yeah. Like when he does this insane shit. What was the one where he like shoved his finger in his like bullet wound?
I don't know. What's the one where he gets his head shoved in a beehive? The beehive box.
Wicker Man?
Wicker Man. So dumb.
The bees! Oh, the bees!
So stupid. Literally like that. After that, I was just like, I can't do Nicolas Cage anymore. But then you have Con Air. Fucking phenomenal.
Got a southern drawl about him.
He's so good and terrible all at the same time. The only actor I know that's so goddamn good he's bad and so goddamn bad he's good. It's insane. He's like a bulldog's appearance. He's so ugly, he's cute.
I saw the outtakes of him doing Ghost Rider when he's transforming.
That was another horrible movie.
That was like before they did any of the CG like graphics.
It looks so dumb.
So it's just him just going.
See, he tries to be too weird. He's like a more retarded version of what's his name? The guy that'll do anything. Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh,
Jack Sparrow.
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. He's like a dumber version of Johnny Depp. Like if Johnny Depp had a younger, dumber brother, like kind of like River Phoenix and Joaquin Phoenix, R.I.P.
Yeah.
He would be like Nicolas Cage would be like the younger, uglier, dumber brother, but still shares the same mannerisms.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Although Joaquin Phoenix is obviously killing it right now. Although he's a fucking weirdo.
He's kind of a weird guy.
Yeah, he's a strange dude. I don't like guys who sit in seats Indian cross. Like, just be normal. Like, I'm not telling you have to like fall in line. You have to be a conformist. Just don't go out of your way not to conform.
I've seen him a couple times on talk shows where he seems very personable and like
other times
and happy to be there. And then, but most of the time, it's like he's sitting there and he's like, I don't want to talk to you.
What doesn't make sense to me though is like Joaquin Phoenix back when he did Signs wasn't like that as a person.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't always in like spotlight. He wasn't always in like the media. He wasn't always like getting attention, but he also wasn't a fucking like objectable like weirdo. Like he wasn't that strange.
I guess you can only take so many people spelling your name wrong.
Yeah. How do you spell Dude, I can't even spell Phoenix right, let alone Joaquin.
I just combined
looks like Jacqueline.
Wok, which is Chinese, W-O-K.
Yeah, Joaquin.
Wok.
Like K-E-E-N?
E-E-N, yeah. W-O-K-E-N.
You're doing it like phonetically.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which is if you're spelling the phone.
But his looks like Jacqueline.
Yeah.
It's Jacqueline. Yeah. Phoenix isn't even phonetically.
Jacqueline. Yeah.
I still don't know how to spell Phoenix. I have to autocorrect it every single time. I have a Phoenix on my arm, and I still don't know how to spell Phoenix.
F-E-E-K-N-I-C-K-S.
Or F-E-E-N-I-X.
Like if you're going to...
Phoenix. That's how it should be. If you're doing it phonetically, it should be something like that. F-E-E-N-I-X would be Phoenix.
Yeah.
Or you could do it. Yeah, no, even N-I-C. I don't know. I'm thinking about it too much. We should probably take a break. We do have, this week, we're doing a boutique week.
Boutique week. And
boutique week.
What I love about Boutique Week, it was actually, the history goes, boutique was actually a word crafted from the word critique. But what's interesting is, during the time, this is about the 1700s, they started doing...
About the 1700s?
Yeah. They started...
Give or take a few hundreds?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they started doing butt contests. And they called them boutiques.
So is that where booty comes from? Is that where booty's derived from? Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Butt contests.
That's interesting.
Yeah. I thought
Who has the
crazy.
nicest donk?
Yep.
Oh, boutique. Interesting.
Yep.
All right. Let's take a quick break, and then we've got 4 cigars to break down. And this would be our 3rd iteration of Boutique Week.
Is it?
It's our 3rd.
Well,
how cool is that?
Second.
No, it's our 3rd. This is the 3rd iteration that we've done, which I'm really excited about.
Boutique Week.
Boutique.
This is a super pre-Halloween episode.
Yeah, for sure. Which is why we have the orange couch. Only for this episode because it's pumpkin-esque.
Yep.
We're literally going to throw it away after this.
Yep.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back at you guys in just a minute. Hang tight. All right. We're back, and it is our 3rd iteration of Boutique Week.
Boutique.
Which I'm really excited about. You know what's weird is that, we do a lot of podcasts, of which are just single reviews of stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're just like last week we did Crown Heads 2019 Mule Kick. If you haven't checked that out yet, check that episode out. It's actually a really good one. They're all good, but you know what I mean. That one in particular I thought was really good. But so we have podcasts of which we just do, again, singular effort. We'll talk about one cigar, but Boutique Week is really cool because it's our opportunity to feature cigars that maybe we otherwise wouldn't feature on the podcast. We really do reserve a lot of space for the podcast in terms of like new release, some of the hype stuff, because people want to know what's going on in the industry in terms of certain cigars. So we really kind of shifted our focus to do that, which sometimes doesn't leave us a lot of time for other things. Like, we do interviews, and we've done the cigar head-to-heads, we've done the overrated, underrated, we've done puff it or snuff it. So we have these different things that we do, so we can't really always get to certain things, right? There's all these wonderful cigars in the industry, but Boutique Week is our way of highlighting multiple cigars, specifically in the boutique category, ones that are a little less known, but ones that may be making some headway in the space. So that's exactly what we're doing today, no different than what we did in the last 2 versions of this particular segment.
That's true, Corey.
So, Chris, what do we have on the list for this week?
This week, Boutique Week 2020, we have Hiram and Solomon.
Hiram and Solomon?
Hiram. Why do I want to keep calling
Why do you call it Dude, you're making it sound like a fucking unknown female body part. Check out your Hiram. Oh, hey, I'm your gynecologist, Fred. I'm here to check out your Hiram.
Test came back on your Hiram. Hiram and Solomon, the grand architect. We have Camaleon with their Huevo De Oro. Don't know who they are? Well, we're going to clue you in today.
We're gonna tell you.
And then we have the Cavalier Geneve White Series that you might have seen it around. It's a nice kind of light wrapper with a little bit of a triangle or diamond gold leaf pressed directly onto the wrapper.
Yeah, theirs is actually kind of controversial because of that gold leaf that's in there, because it is technically edible, but we'll get into that.
Sure. And then the last one on the list is from our friends at Cigar Hustlers. This is the Powstanie SBC 18. That's your lineup for today. 4 great cigars. How will they compete? How will they compare in this year's 2020 Boutique Week?
Well, you can't really say 2020 because we're likely going to do a couple more of these before the end of the year. We'll say 2020 version 1.
Season
2020.1.
Season 1.
There you go, season 1. Even though most things are, when you say seasons in terms of years. TV, are usually in years.
This is season 2 then.
We say chapter 1
or chapter
part 1.
Oh, season 2, episode 1.
There, yeah, okay. 2020 season 2, episode 1.
That's it. We got it.
We'll do that. Which one do we want to start with? I'll let you choose.
Ooh, I like the sound of this. Let's do it in reverse order.
Let's do it in reverse order.
Dude, I'm struggling.
Hey, Elmer Fudd.
I'm struggling.
Dude, I didn't give you that much bourbon.
I know. I am struggling.
I think it's you still got a belly full of that chicken tikka masala.
Probably. Let's do the Powstanie SBC 18 from our buddies at Cigar Hustler.
Yeah, I think that's a good one to start with. We said earlier, because what's sad is that we both have strong Polish heritage.
Yes, we do.
But I still don't know how to say this word. Some people are like, it's Powstanie. And then some people are like, it's Powstanie. And then some people are like, it's Powstanie.
It's Powstanie. It's
definitely not Italian.
It's like a salami and like a
pulled pork Powstanie. It
sounds like a deli meat.
It's a fucking deli sandwich.
It's a deli meat for sure.
Hey, give me a double Powstanie on rye.
Hold the tomatoes. They don't sit well with me.
My body doesn't do well with the acid. You give me the Powstanie with lettuce only, please. It's hilarious. This is the SBC 18. This is from the Nico Sueño factory. Obviously, everybody's going to be fairly familiar with that because that's where all Aromacraft cigars are produced.
Yep.
This does and is comprised of a Nicaraguan filler with a Nicaraguan binder. Actually, is it Mexican San Andreas and Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper is what I meant. Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler. So if you haven't seen this cigar does have the interlaced wrapper on it, which is going to be lighter in color. So it's kind of got that barber pull, not a true barber pull, but it does have, you'll see that lighter cigar that you'll see a lighter version of a wrapper interlaced in with the darker version of the Mexican San Andreas. This particular cigar that we smoked is in a Corona Gorda. It's a 5.5 by 46. Absolutely love that fucking Vitola. That is like that. When I say perfect Vitola, that is pretty much it.
Yeah, that's
5.5 by 46.
That's the sweet spot.
Now, here's the crazy thing about this cigar. It comes at a premium. This is a $16 fucking cigar.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And the reason I say that's crazy, I don't want to say it's crazy because we haven't yet determined whether or not it's worth it. But what I mean by what I said is that in relation to other things that come out of Nico Sueño, inclusive of the Aromacraft tobacco cigars, you think about Aromacraft prices, there isn't anything in their lineup that eclipses that dollar amount, really, unless it's special edition. But everything that sits on the shelves and that's readily available is never going to be anywhere near that $16 price point.
Maybe this is like a really aged Powstanie meat.
Yeah. Give me the dry-aged Powstanie on rye, please.
Dry-aged Powstanie.
I'll tell you what, I really like that pumpernickel with the Powstanie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, $16 price point's pretty hefty, but let's get into the cigar itself. Chris, what did you think about the construction on this cigar?
Dude, anything come out of the Nico Sueño lineup and manufacturing and their process, their quality control is hands down really good construction. Nothing to really crazy to say about this cigar, but it is barber pole, right?
Yeah, it is barber pole.
I love the design.
Yeah.
The design aesthetically, it's great. It's a big fucking label that goes down the side of this as SBC 18.
Yeah. I actually like the simplicity of the label itself.
Yeah. It's a great construction. There's nothing bad to say about it. It is definitively the de facto standard. It's great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, honestly, it's weird because if you were to remove that band and you were to ask me, where do you think this cigar was produced? I think I would probably default Nico Sueño.
Yeah.
Just when you look at the cigar, just understanding what comes out of that factory, that's probably what I would default to and say, oh yeah, that's definitely a Nico Sueño cigar.
Yeah.
I'd still probably have it wrong, but in my head, I feel like that's what I would default to first.
And the thing about the burn too is that it, for me, it was a little tight. I don't know if it was for you, but it was a little tight. But all in all, like always we look out for hold tests, setting it down for 5 minutes. See how the Powstanie tastes. Let it simmer in your mouth while you let the sandwich rest. I thought the burn was great. You know, like again, it's like that's what I expect from Nico Sueño.
I think it's weird how you totally just railroaded what I was going to say about construction because I hadn't even really started.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you just took off like a bat out of hell.
I thought you were agreeing with me.
I was.
Oh,
but I was certainly I was certainly looking to add to it.
Hey, let's just move this boat along.
Yeah, no shit. Someone's in a rush.
Sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I had nothing. Go ahead.
Oh.
No, I did. What I wanted to say was I did agree with you in terms of, yes, most stuff that comes out of the Nico Sueño factory is usually superior construction, superior quality. Just the tobacco that they use seems to just be outrageously amazing. Every single time I see a Roman craft cigar, I go, oh yeah, that's why I love them so much.
Yeah.
Flavor aside, they're just always amazingly built.
Yeah.
What I really liked about this cigar was you typically wouldn't expect anything other than flawless, which is exactly what you get in terms of construction. But what I really enjoyed about it is I do like the barber pole look, but I like the toothiness on that Mexican San Andreas wrapper, which you get on Mexican San Andreas, but not to the degree that I saw it on this cigar. It was super thick. It was actually a very dense cigar given the Vitola at a 5.5 by 46.
The foreskin on this cigar was outrageous.
I loved it. Nice and thick.
Nice and thick.
Really, just harboring a whole bunch of goodness underneath.
Oh, yeah.
This kind of sounds gross when you say it like that, but now we can move into the burn. You have my permission.
Oh, it's great, man. Like, I thought it was a little tight. I think it was a little overpacked. I was struggling a little bit on the draw.
Okay.
It wasn't like to the point where I was going to be like, okay, this is like crippling. I'm going to blow out like a blood vessel. Yeah. But it was just a little tight, just a bit tight. Maybe that barber pole was squeezed a little too tightly around that cigar wrapper. I don't know what it was, but, you know, chicken and corn. Yeah, but I thought the burn was great, man. It passed the hold test. Consistency was pretty damn even. It burned really evenly. Yeah. Passed the hold test. It was like a good 2-3 puffer, and it was great. It was a great burn.
Yeah, so I like the burn on the cigar. I think optimal resistance, good enough draw in terms of smoke production. What I thought was weird was that typically if I have a tight draw on a cigar, it's usually tight towards the beginning of the cigar. Then I have the ability to, in some ways to loosen it up, right? Yeah. Either by honing it out a little bit, maybe just squishing the head of the cigar just a bit. You touch the tip, squish the tip just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
And you kind of loosen everything up inside. This cigar was kind of an anomaly because it got tighter. The draw got tighter as I really started smoking the cigar. So really at the halfway point, it started to tighten up a little bit. So I don't want to say perfect in terms of the draw, but certainly good enough. I would say mirrored with an amazing construction. The experience thus far, pretty damn good for this cigar.
Yeah, totally. Flavor. Now this is one of these areas where I'm going to give a lot of scrutiny for Nico Sueño. You know, produce a good cigar for our buddies. It better taste great, right? Better be a good one.
It's got to be good.
I've got a high expectation.
Super high expectation. See, that's the problem. Here's my problem, Nico Sueño, specifically with Skip Martin. When you make, and of course, I think of a guy like Skip Martin as a a perfectionist of sorts, right?
Yeah.
Just even in our conversation with him, pulling
Yeah.
stuff off the production line, making sure that everything is done to it. He seems like a guy who's overwhelmingly OCD about stuff.
8 cigars a day, bro.
Right. So when you think about that piece of it, there's always this element of perfection. How do I continue raising the bar? Which he's done over and over and over and over again through stuff that's been produced, through certain things that he does in terms of quality control, factory-wise, always looking to raise the bar, which I admire. Sometimes when you've already set the bar too high, though, it makes other things that are still really good seem substandard.
Yeah.
And I'm going to leave that thought there and continue.
Yeah, no, I thought that, this is, as Mexican San Andreas, right? This cigar brings out some great tangy and earthy notes mixed with some pretty strong spice. And I always get strong spice from Nica Sueño.
For sure.
One of the craziest things about Nica Sueño that I always get is the amount of nicotine that I get from a Nica Sueño cigar.
It's really weird how you enunciated nicotine so powerfully.
Nicotine. Right?
Watch how you say that, though. Sounds a little racy.
But that aside, I thought the flavors were pretty strong. It was a pretty consistent cigar of that particular flavor profile. Not a lot of change ups, nothing like that. It was good. It was pretty dang good.
Yeah.
It is comparable. It is comparable to some of my favorite Roma Craft cigars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I do agree.
Yeah.
I do agree. So in terms of like when I was talking about the construction, where I'd say I would default say that this is from Nica Sueño, I feel the same way about the flavors.
Yeah. And that's how I felt about it. But I thought it was a really good cigar. Good flavor, great construction, great burn. What do you think, bro?
So what I really enjoyed about this cigar was the first half of the cigar.
Yeah.
Both in terms of flavor and flavor and burn, as I'd mentioned, I'd had tight draw issues in the burn. I really like the front half of the cigar. What I got out of it was like this really nice, dark, deep fruitiness. It's very rich up front. It really honestly reminds me of dessert with actually a lesser element of pepper in the front. For me personally, I got just like this. It was almost, you know what it reminded me of? I remember the first time that I had that creme brulee beer. I remember where I was when I had it, and I was like, oh, this is 100% a dessert beer. This is not one that you chug. This is one that you savor. This is one that is in a particular moment in time is when you drink this beer. And I love the creme brulee, right? But it serves its purpose. That's kind of what I felt about this cigar. It seemed very dessert-like, especially in the first half. It does transition to like this really nice earthiness, and then that's where I got the pepper. And then just kind of right at the halfway point.
Yeah.
And that really sticks to the end of the cigar. What I really enjoyed about the cigar in the beginning seemed to dissipate and disappear at the halfway point, and then that really earthy pepperiness comes in, which is not a flavor profile that I hate, but it's not as much as what I liked in the beginning of the cigar. So I was a little disappointed that those elements that I liked at the beginning, that complexity never really came back. It never really reintroduced itself.
Yeah.
But I really actually quite enjoyed the rich pepper earthiness that you get that remains to the rest of the cigar, which is, again, as you had already stated, not a departure at all from what you get from the Nica Sueño factory at all. In terms of Roma Craft, some of the other blends that they have produced there that are not Roma Craft branded, it's kind of a characteristic that you're used to, which I really enjoyed. I just wish I had more of what was up front towards the end.
Yeah, I agree.
But I thought it was good.
I didn't get as much change up as I think you described, but it was, it does. That last part of the cigar, for sure, that's what I experienced most of it.
Right. Yeah, it was at least 50% of the cigar was that particular flavor profile.
Yeah, totally.
With some subtle change-ups in the beginning. So here's the thing about this cigar. It says it comes in at a $16 price point, and this is considered like a limited edition cigar. So can we argue that this cigar from Nica Sueño, in comparison to other things that come out of the factory and aligning this with everything else in the marketplace around that dollar amount, where does this land?
Obviously, this is not a direct-to-consumer type of product, right? It's not coming directly from the brand Roma Craft with the Nica Sueño factory.
Right.
To have a competitive price.
Essentially a layer in between.
There's a middle company.
Mike.
Right. That said, it is a great cigar. It is a great cigar, but I really struggle with 16. Really struggle. In fact, if I was even going to put a price tag of an exclusive limited release cigar, it'd be probably more on the line of like $12 for this. And that's sometimes pushing it. You know, it just depends on how good the cigar is and what's the expectations around what it is. But
Right.
that said, it is an overpriced cigar. I had to give it a -1.
Yeah. I agree with you. I don't know that I would really change up what you said all that much. I think I really like the cigar. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't $16 enjoy it.
No.
I would have $10 enjoyed it.
No.
I would have definitely $9 enjoyed it, just because it comes from the Nica Sueño factory, and also because, and we've said this before, you like smoking cigars from good people, people with good intentions, people that you really enjoy, people that you like in the industry. Sometimes you smoke a cigar because you like the cigar. Sometimes you create an attachment beyond that.
Yeah.
And I really, really like Mikey a lot. I really do. He's one of my favorite people in the cigar industry. So for that reason alone, I really like smoking their cigars. And I would argue, like, we smoke the Habano and the Broadleaf.
So good.
Those cigars are so goddamn good.
Yeah, they're good.
Honestly, if this was in alignment with those price points, which are roughly that $8.50, $9 price point, I would say all day, every day.
All day, every day.
But when I'm saying almost double that price point,
Yeah.
I can't fall in line. I can't fall in line.
Maybe
even with something that's limited edition. So I did give it a -1 point on deduction. But I will say I enjoyed the cigar. I liked it a lot. I didn't $16 like it a lot.
Yeah. If it had the name dry aged in it, dry aged Powstanie, I think maybe you can get away with 16.
Yeah.
But not in this context.
Give me that. I want the dry aged Powstanie. You give me all the mayo. I want all the mayo. I really want you to brighten it up with the mayos. I really want you to brighten it up with the cucumber. I want a lot of cucumber on there. And don't skip on those fucking onions either.
But hold the tomatoes. Those don't
The
go.
acid of the tomatoes will really fuck me up.
Fuck me up.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm practicing my New York accent, by the way, because we are going to be doing a podcast, which you already know, with the Burn Down guys.
Yeah.
And they're both very much thick New York.
Hey.
Thick New York.
Hey, brother.
Thick New York.
Yeah.
You're definitely not doing it right. But it's thick New York. And I feel like if I can get it down in the next few days, I'll spend the entire podcast speaking just like they do.
Yeah.
Which excites me to no end.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at, bro. Great cigar.
Hit me with it.
Gave it a -1%. Comes in at a 90%.
90%.
Yeah.
Great. Mine comes in at a 90%. The 1 point deduction.
Yeah.
So let's call it a 90, which I think is a fair score. I think what you get in terms of great construction, good burn, and wonderful flavors.
Yeah.
Just the -1 point deduction from both of us just being really super high accelerated price point beyond what I think the market could bear for a cigar like this. I think it's fair. I think it's reasonable. 90% is a good score.
Yeah. Moving on. The next one up in this lineup is the Cavalier Geneve White
Series. Where are we at on time?
Let's
check that. I feel like that was
5 minutes.
That was pretty long-winded.
That was a pretty long-winded.
How about we take a quick break?
Yeah.
To reset.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the other ones.
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, and let's speak like those Meekum Auto Show like.
Yeah.
That's how we'll review.
And then people just like chicken in the cornbread guy or cocaine, however you want to decipher it. We'll slow it down later and see if people can understand us.
That's true. We can do that.
All right, let's do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back at you guys in just a second. Hang tight. I should wake up like that. Dude, if I saved all the footage for outtakes of just the dumb shit that you and I do, it would be fucking hysterical. So, we're back, by the way. So we're back. But what I wanted to say was just in the, are we back? No, we're not back yet. And hopefully now we're back. Are we back? Now we're back. What I was going to say was that, so I've got it'll be the first YouTube review video that I've done. Mm-hmm. And I want to do more of them because I'm really sick of writing and I really like shooting video.
It's easier, isn't it?
It's not that it's easier. It's actually more work, but it's more enjoyable work. So it seems easier.
I just struggle with writing sometimes.
Yeah, I do too. We still got to write. But I like the idea of doing like really quick digestible videos because I think people seem to enjoy them. They're more attention capturing than something that's written. I forget where I was going with this story, but I had a point that I was going to make with all of it.
Something about video.
It's a fleeting point now.
Something about
Let's
video.
get back into the reviews.
Yeah, that's
I'm not necessarily really not that concerned with what I was going to say. So we are going to do the Cavalier. Is it Geneve? Geneva? Geneve?
Cavalier Geneve.
Geneve?
White Series.
The White Series, right?
Brought to you by Progressive.
Right. Auto insurance?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or just like we're in a progressive period in time.
Nah.
Brought to you by Progressiveness, because anybody can be a lesbian.
Oh, it actually says Progresso.
Oh. Brought to you by the fucking really horrible soup with no sodium. All right, let's get into it.
It's like, I thought you were dead.
Dude, I didn't even know they made that soup anymore.
Yeah.
I tell you what, during coronavirus, I bet there's a lot of those cans sitting on the shelves because this shit's fucking disgusting. I remember there was a point in time where I was like, I'm going to start eating healthy. So I started eating Progresso soup. Dude, fucking terrible. Because I didn't know what health was back then.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, I keep seeing these commercials about Progresso being this healthy soup.
Yeah.
First of all, it's not even healthy. And by the way, they just only remove salt.
Yeah,
that's all they do. It's just low sodium.
Yeah, still got the sugars.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just god awful. So we're breaking down the Cavalier Geneve White Series.
What's in it, bro?
What is in it? It has a Habano wrapper,
okay,
Honduran Connecticut binder,
ooh,
and a combination of, get this, Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Paraguay fillers.
Paraguay.
Now, this is a region of tobacco that you're starting to see more and more in cigars. This is the third cigar that I've had, different cigar, in the recent 3 weeks that had Paraguay tobacco in it. Would it be Paraguayan? Paraguay? What would you say that is? Paraguay? Paraguay. That would be like plural,
is that a
right?
Flock of Paraguay?
Paraguay.
If it's more than one, it's a flock of Paraguay.
You know what? When you say Paraguay, I think of. Do you remember that white rapper with the top hat, Jamiroquai? Do you remember that guy?
Yeah.
Did a weird music video where he's just like walking on the side of a wall, and he only really ever did that song.
Yeah.
Jamiroquai. We smoked this in what I wrote down on my sheet, instead of double, it is double Robusto. Double.
It's basically a Toro.
Which is a 5.5 by 56. It's almost like, it's really it's basically, it is a double Robusto. It's a Robusto Extra, technically. And these cigars come in at a $10 price point.
$10 price point.
Now, this is a cigar, and I said earlier, that has, I don't want to say has controversy to it, but I think purists in the cigar community go, why would you ever do edible gold flake on your tobacco? There's certainly got to be an element to that that's going to impact the flavor. I don't know if it does or doesn't. I've smoked like 4 of these cigars, and I'm not sure that it does when I smoke them. I don't really think about it too much when I'm smoking the cigar. I don't know if there's a factor in there that actually taints the cigar or changes the flavor profile of it. It's almost like I look at it like edible underwear. They're underwear, but they're also kind of fruity delicious too. Yeah. So you could eat something else that wasn't underwear that's fruity delicious. It's just another element of edible something that you get.
Yeah.
For me, I just call it a blank flavor.
Yeah.
And I think that's really what it is. But it is gold flake, and it's kind of cool because you're like, oh, you can smoke through it. How cool is that?
But the question is, will it be better than a fruit roll-up?
It'd be hard to argue because fruit roll-ups are delicious.
They're fucking good.
If I was going to eat dried, nasty, sugar-filled fruit that isn't fruit, it'd be fruit roll-up.
It'd be totally fruit
I
roll-up.
used to take them and roll them really tight, and then I would eat one end of it. So I never ate them like kids did, like a long tongue, like a red carpet. I rolled them real tight and then ate the ends of them until they were done.
See, I used to roll them real
I was very weird the way I
used to roll them real tight and shove them up my butt and say, ooh, that tastes like strawberries.
Do you remember? Gross. Do you remember that one time you stuck a Cheeto in your ass?
Yep. Held it
there. I remember I was in the bathroom with Mom in this little fucking danky ass house that my grandma owns. It was like 3 small ass bedrooms. 1 bathroom. I bet this house wasn't more than 900 square feet.
Yeah, totally.
When we were living in it. And I remember I was in the bathroom with Mom, was like getting ready. And you're like, look, and you bent over and there's just a Cheeto stuck in your asshole. So fucking weird. It was so funny. Dude, I will literally never forget that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is.
So hilarious.
Mom still brings it up.
God, I will never. I was young too. I'll never forget that. I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, probably.
Yeah.
And I remember you just bent over white ass cheeks and just a little orange fucking probe sticking right out of your rectum. And I just remember you being like, look. Like, what are we supposed to do? Eat it off your ass like a porn? Like, what do we do with this information? Where does the Cheeto go after this? Do you throw it away? Do you eat it? What did you do with the Cheeto?
I don't think I ate it.
I fucking hope you didn't eat it.
I don't think I did.
You had a sweaty kid ass. That's not good. At least it was before all the hair, though.
That's true.
All right, let's get in this fucking goddamn. We got to get into this review. All right, Chris, what did you think about the construction on this cigar?
You can tell when you touch the cigar, it's very thin. In fact, very quickly I realized I was having an issue with the wrapper. It was like cracking while touching.
Interesting. Yeah.
It was super fragile.
Yeah.
It was a pretty solid construction overall, but it's like it was like touching a frail old woman. Like if you touched her, she was bruising. Like I
always feel that way about grandma. Like I feel like I'm gonna hug grandma too tight and she's just gonna burst.
Yeah, that's how I felt this cigar was.
You ever seen what's that movie where like the person goes to hug the other person, they turn to ash? It's like I don't know, it's a vampire movie.
Oh,
what am I thinking of?
20 Days of Night.
Oh yeah, that's what it is at the end where he starts flaking away,
burning up.
That's what I feel like when I'm gonna hug an old person.
Yeah, it just like. It was a cigar that I knew I was going to have troubles with.
Yeah.
Like I touched it and it was like cracking.
Yeah.
And then I peeled off the label because you always got to peel off the label, right?
Yeah. You can't smoke through it.
And I just, we'll get into the burn,
here's
but
the thing. On this cigar, you can smoke through the gold flake. Don't smoke through the label. You get one thing to smoke through, and that's the gold flake.
Yeah, like I knew that the construction was going to be an issue here.
Yeah.
I had to give it a negative on that.
Yeah, for sure. So I've smoked a lot of these cigars. And I'll put it this way. There isn't one that I've smoked that has had great construction. They've all been substandard in terms of construction.
Yeah.
I actually called, to the point is the first one that I smoked, I called it out in an Instagram post, and I felt bad because I got a lot of flack from people. People who are like a real big fan of the brand.
Yeah.
And they're like, give them another chance. Just don't go out of the gates bashing them. They were really butthurt about it because they have like this weird following of people. And I was just like, first of all,
we call them Cavaliers.
I'm literally coming out in the moment, and I'm trying to express my feelings and my emotions in the moment. Don't stifle my ability to do that. It really upset me at the time.
Yeah, don't Lancelot me.
No, definitely don't Lancelot me. I like your Cavalier joke. So it was kind of annoying that like people came out of the woodwork and was like, how dare you bash them? Give them another chance.
Yeah.
They weren't being rude about it, but then also it's like, I get to say what I can say. This is fucking America.
It's my opinion.
It's my opinion. Because it was so atrocious the first time I smoked it. And guess what? This was the second time smoking one, and it was equally as atrocious.
Yeah.
I had the same issues you did. Now, I keep everything in a very, very, very controlled environment. Anybody who's seen my setup knows that I control things to the nth degree. I talk about on this podcast. I am very, very scientific. I'm like, it's like I have my lab coat on when I'm fucking taking care of my cigars.
Yeah.
I rotate in and out. I make sure the pH levels are exactly where they're supposed to be. I am very particular about it.
Yeah.
This was in cigars that have maintained consistency over a long period of time, and this cigar just didn't perform. I think it's weird in terms of what I can tell. I had a single cap set, which is kind of strange these days. But what it did was the cap really started peeling off and loosening up. And then I got that whole thing where it started to unwind at the top. Yeah. And it was kind of cracking and flaking away. And I'm like, here we go again. Second time I've smoked this cigar. And by the way, I will say the second time I smoked this cigar is what I reviewed. I've had the cigar twice since then. And same fucking issues with the other two I've smoked.
Yeah.
It's maddening to me. These are elements of the cigar that you need to control and get right. Period. If you want to sell cigars and you want it to be meaningful in the marketplace, this is table stakes. You've got to make sure these things are done right.
I agree, man. It's kind of like walking on a lake and it just barely froze over and you're like, yeah, I'm going to fall in, man. This shit's going to crack.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Those kinds of things are just a little maddening to me because those are, again, table stakes. Those are the things that you just want to make sure that you end up getting right. So not the best score in terms of construction. Chris, what did you think about the burn?
The burn was pretty solid. Overall, it was a 2-3 puffer, pretty consistent. The thing about this cigar, though, is like the ash is real messy. Not that I'm going to take points away from that.
It's a very flaky ash, isn't it?
It's super.
It's not rigid and it doesn't really hold shape. It
blossoms like a flower.
It's very strange. It just kind of like, you know what it reminds me of is that movie Volcano, right? Every single time like the fucking volcano ashes and it just shit just spreads everywhere. It's thick, but it's everywhere.
Yeah, it just like blossoms like a flower and fall. It's so flaky, man.
Yeah, it's very flaky. It's like a croissant.
I didn't take negative points from that at all. I just thought it was worth mentioning.
Also kind of annoying, right? Because it gets on your computer.
It gets on everything.
Every time we review, it's just like
You
ashes all
get
over
a
your
half
computer.
inch of ash and it's falling off your cigar.
Yeah. I actually don't like that in a cigar.
Yeah.
I'd never give negative points for it because
No.
I understand different tobaccos are different tobaccos, but it's also super fucking annoying because I'm the kind of person that likes to let that shit go so long it falls in my lap.
Yeah.
You did that yesterday, which was really funny.
Yeah.
That's just how we smoke.
That's just how we smoke. And the thing is so we did the whole test as well. It did not pass the whole test. There was something about the cigar when I got to the halfway point. It just did not hold up.
Yeah, not gonna hold up.
And I had to relight it again after that.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. So negative points on burn.
I would say this for me. Despite the horrific construction issues that this cigar always has, the burn was fucking flawless.
That's good.
That's what's crazy. So you think about, and we always say one curtails kind of into the other. One parallels the other in terms of the construction and burn. Obviously, both of them are, one affects the other thing, right?
Yeah.
This cigar was an anomaly because it burnt so well. Despite those issues that I had, the cigar drew amazing. The draw on the cigar was one of the best I've had in a really long time. Adequate resistance with really, really good mouthfuls of smoke. The smoke production on the cigar was actually something I did not anticipate being as good as it was. That being said, I think the other thing that I really like about this cigar was the consistency minus the construction issues. It burnt so evenly, passed the whole test flawlessly.
It burned
So fucking well. I'm like, how can you have all this trouble up front and still maintain all these good characteristics in the burn? It's really an anomaly. But I appreciate the fact that it was because at least there's some redeeming qualities in the cigar up until this point.
For sure.
So what did you think about arguably the most important part of our reviews being the flavor?
Bitter, woody, medium spice up front. It starts off kind of like a bland, harsh cigar. But what's sweet about this Cavalier is while he might be a hard ass on the surface, he does sweeten up on you when you get to know him. The cigar does open up to a bit of creaminess and sweetness that kind of blends with and marries with the bitter woodiness that you get up front. I thought the flavors were pretty pleasurable for a majority of the cigar, and they're probably more enjoyable as you go in the cigar.
Yeah.
Like at the 2/3 point where you've got a couple inches left, maybe almost 3 inches left, it's a really pretty tasty cigar. I thought it was a pretty tasty cigar. Not all 100% of it. I thought the first part was kind of just blah.
Yeah.
But a little past halfway point, it was a pretty tasty cigar.
I had a little bit of different experience in the beginning. I didn't get as much of the harshness as you got, but for everything else that you're saying, I did get a lot of that. So I get a lot of that. What I really like about it, to me, there was no rush of pepper, no harshness in terms of that, but there is that really like sweet, creamy tanginess, which is a profile of cigar that I've come to absolutely love. Yeah. I think there's something to the Paraguay fillers in this cigar, even though it's just one of 3 components in terms of the fillers. And of course, in the overall cigar, one of 5 components. There's something unique about what that gives to this cigar that I've really not been accustomed to. And I think my mind is now conditioned to look for things different and to enjoy the differences. Like every time we get a cigar that has like Peruvian tobacco in, which is still a rarity, or Costa Rican tobacco, or even for a long time, the Brazilian tobacco, right? Even in form of Matafita, right? Which was a component that was used more as a binder than it was as a wrapper type. Just those subtle differences, it feels like my mind is conditioned to pick up on them and to automatically enjoy them. There was something about the flavor profile of the cigar because it was different, and I think it was that added element to it that I really enjoyed. So it does give me the things that I like in terms of like the tanginess balanced out with the sweet and creamy. I like the fact that it was a departure in terms of the pepperiness, which I've had a lot of recently. It's kind of just, it's like par for the course now. Yeah. I actually really like the flavor on the cigar a lot. I thought it was really good.
I thought the woodiness was the uniqueness part about it because there was a strong woodiness that I got from it.
There is actually, and weirdly enough, in my notes on the retrohale, that's where I pick up that those really strong wood flavors.
Yeah, and I really liked it. I thought the flavor was great.
I think the flavor of this cigar is so unique that it's definitely one just flavor alone that people should try to get their hands on.
Maybe on a 1, 2, 3. Is it worth $10? I was going to say 10 cigars. I'm like, all day, every day.
Yeah. I made that mistake in like 2 podcasts ago where you're like, if we get 13 cigars out of it.
For $10 on a count of 3, is it worth it or not? Right? 1, 2, 3.
Yes, it's worth it.
It's the right price.
For sure. I think it's a good price for this cigar. And thinking about that, you get a 5.5 by what? 50? It was a
52, I think.
5.5 by 56.
Oh, it was a fatter one.
It's a dong to dong dong dong, which is awesome. Yeah. So 5.5 by 56. I think just in that Vitola alone, you get a lot of tobacco. You're getting a really cool, unique boutique brand. Let's not forget that you get the interlaced gold flake on it. Whether you care about that or not, doesn't matter. Introduction of flavors, not introduction of flavors. It's a different, unique experience, which is something that no one else does. I agree that it's worth the price point.
Yeah, totally. Coming in at the end of it, this Cavalier Geneve White Series comes in from Chris at an 88.3. Pretty struggling construction and burn for me, but the flavors were pretty good.
88.3 for you. It came for me at an 89.2. Obviously, because I had some challenges with the construction mostly.
Yeah.
But I think the redemption of the burn and, of course, the unique flavors kind of help bolster the score overall. That would give us an average score of an 88.75.
The scores are in, folks, and so far leading today's boutique week is Powstanie in first and the Cavalier Geneve in second.
Yep, and that's where we're ending. So what are we on time? Because I feel like we're really long-winded on this episode.
We're really long-winded. We got 7 minutes.
7 minutes?
Yeah.
Holy shillelagh.
Yeah.
We should probably take another quick break.
Yeah, totally.
God damn. We should really power through the last two. Mostly because I haven't eaten and I just keep drinking this bourbon.
Yeah, we need some like elevator music at this point.
Yeah, it's probably. You know, people always ask me, they go, why do you guys take breaks? It's like the cigar comes back in like 2 seconds. I'm like, hey, dummy, we got to do production. It's not that we're just like, hey, take a quick break. Hey, Chris, we're back. It's like, no, we have to stop it. Yeah. It's called post-production, dummies.
Yeah.
There's times where I have to go take a piss or I got to take a shit or I'm going to get a drink of water.
And we run out of bourbon space.
That's mostly because we run out of video.
Yeah.
So we are going to take another quick break. We'll be back at you and let's see if we can power through the last two and get them all done in the last segment of the show.
Sure. Let's do this.
All right. We'll be back at you guys in just a minute. Hang tight. All right. I think we're back. I should probably put my headphones on.
It's tomorrow.
You were going to do no headphones. I don't like it. I like headphones on. I like to be able to hear the feedback.
True. That's true.
Yeah, I think I convinced you finally.
2 cigars down, 2 cigars remaining. Up on this pause break. The next 2 cigars are brought to you by Allstate. We have the Camaleon Huevo De Oro and the Hiram and Solomon Grand Architect.
Chris, speak.
Woo!
You got it. Hey, you got it. Good job. Chris, roll your eyes. No one can see your sunglasses are on. Roll your eyes. That's not... Yeah, there you go. You got it. Good boy. It's my new Chris training technique.
Yeah.
You know what's so weird is that like you think about how elementary this device is.
Yeah.
But how well it works with dogs.
Yeah.
Dogs in particular, most dogs, now some are smarter than others. This dog that we're fostering, Caden, is insanely intelligent. So highly intelligent, it's freaky. That's why he acts out all the time.
Yeah.
So we're doing clicker training with him, which is weird because it seems elementary, but for dogs, this is like the clicker training is like what we're doing with him is super advanced. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start doing it with you because I think your intelligence level mimics that of Caden's right now.
That's possible.
It's very possible. So we are doing the Camaleon Huevo De Oro, correct?
Huevo De Oro.
Now, funny, weird story around these guys. Chris and I we met them unknowingly a couple years ago in the Dominican Republic. Yeah. Realized who they were at this like weird party we were at. It was actually really fun. Also, that party has sparked interest in me learning how to salsa dance.
Yeah.
And I told Lauren, this is no joke, I told her this last weekend, and she didn't believe me. She was like, oh, you're fucking stupid. I said, for my birthday, I want to do salsa lessons, like her and I together, which, you know me, would never do, ever. Yeah. In my past, like, I was, like, adamantly against dancing. But I just think about the times of which I want to go back to South America or to go back into the Caribbean for that. I'm like, I need to know how to do this because it's so popular. I want to be the guy that gets on the dance floor and the fucking gringo and just tears it the fuck up.
Do you remember when I danced with like fucking 5
women?
I do.
You looked real dumb. The only thing that saved you was your ass.
Yeah.
Because you have a Dominican ass. You have a Dominican ass. You have like a Puerto Rican ass.
I thought I was part Hispanic.
You don't look like it because you're white and pasty as shit.
Yeah.
But you have the ass of a Dominican girl.
Yeah, that's
for sure. So I think that helps with your movement a little bit.
Yeah, I could totally.
But I told Lauren, I was like, I'm dead serious. Like, if for my birthday you buy us like salsa dancing lessons, I'm 100% in because I really want to learn how to dance. Because the next time I go there, I want to be the fucking best in the room. I want to show all those girls when they're like, "Oh, look, get up and dance. Oh, come on, this shit."
It's like I don't know. I don't
and
really
be like,
dance.
"Oh, I don't know. Okay, all right, fine. If you," and then I just go and
lead them on,
dude. I will set the floor ablaze.
I've never really done this. I've never done this.
You know what? It's gonna be okay. I'm in.
What's this called? Salsa verde? Oh,
it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That'd be sweet.
All right, let's break the components down of this cigar. Now it's an HVA, which it sounds like
sounds like a disease.
It does sound like a disease, right? Like what's the human papillomavirus that girls get? Carrillo 98 and Corojo 2020. In terms of the wrapper, binder, filler components, we smoke this in a Robusto 5x52. This comes in at a very reasonable price point of $8. Now, these guys are in the Dominican. This is where we met them years ago.
Yeah.
And I was super excited. They actually sent us samples of these before I went to Puerto Rico. So actually, the first time I smoked this cigar, it's actually not the first time I smoked this cigar. The first time I smoked this cigar was actually available in one of my favorite cigar lounges in Chicago. In Schaumburg. So you can find these there and they're relatively inexpensive. But outside of that experience, I had not had this cigar in quite some time. Mm-hmm. So I smoked it in the harshest conditions when I was in Puerto Rico, meaning like 50-mile-an-hour winds,
humidity,
100% humidity on the beach.
Yeah.
So I put these fuckers through the paces, but that's not what I reviewed. I reviewed a cigar which was under much more controlled conditions. So let's get into it. Chris, what did you think about the construction?
Dude, there is no give to this cigar. Mine was literally like pushing on like a fucking steroided out bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Like
tight.
It is so tight.
Yeah.
Dude, it literally is fucking hard as a rock.
Yeah, they are. They really are, aren't they?
Yes, hard as a fucking rock.
Yeah.
Black veins running through the wrapper. It's a nice.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Reverse that.
Black veins.
You just said hard and tight, and then your leading sentence after that was dark veins.
This is getting real phallic.
Chris, control yourself.
Real clean cap. Real clean head.
Nice dark black tip.
And real clean head. I love the label of this cigar. I think it's a pretty cigar. It looks great.
Isn't it
constructed
awesome?
Great.
We also love the color, meaning that color represented is the same color as this chair.
So
Chris likes the teal.
Yeah.
I also very much like the teal now. So I agree with you. I love the band of this cigar. Is awesome. That was not the original band, by the way. The original band was much more elementary in its appearance.
Yeah.
This one, dude, fucking killed it.
Great construction.
Yeah.
And for the burn, what was interesting.
Hey, can I talk? Jesus Christ.
I thought you wanted to speed this up.
I do, but let me at least get through. I agree with you. Move on. It's like a thin black dick. Yeah. Let's keep going.
Pretty much.
Let's keep going. On to burn.
Dude, the ash is no exception to how rigid the cigar is. It has such a thick, dense ash when you smoke it.
You just smoked this one the other day, and as you were smoking, I was with you. You didn't talk anything about the cigar other than what I could visually see was how thick that thick white ash that you got off the cigar, which I made a comment about. You didn't even say anything.
Yeah, totally. It's a 3-4 puffer. It was a little bit tight for me, and I think it is due to how bunched this cigar is. It was a little tight.
There's a lot going on inside.
But it burned really evenly.
Yeah.
And it passed the whole test. It never went out. I never had to relight it.
Yeah.
It was a well-constructed cigar, but just a little tight.
Am I allowed to talk about the burn?
Yeah.
All right. Permission granted. Thank you. Great draw on the cigar. Wonderful smoke production. The only issue I had with the cigar was really one very bad run towards the end of the cigar. One that not only I had to make a small correction to, I really had to correct the cigar. So other than the one issue, I thought the cigar overall, in terms of I thought was a really good construction. that was mirrored in terms of the burn, minus that one issue, which did take a pretty substantial relight. I let it go as far as I could without and trying to get it to correct itself, turning the cigar over, really trying to get some more heat under the bottom. Just was not taking it. I had to apply a pretty substantial correction to the cigar, which actually created a little bit of harshness, which we'll talk about in the flavor. But I thought overall, in terms of construction and burn paralleled with one another, it's pretty good cigar so far. Yeah. What did you think about the flavor, Chris?
The flavor, I have a lot of mixed feelings on, to be real with you.
Yeah.
A lot of mixed feelings.
I'm kind of the same way.
Strong bitterness and spice up front. I tend to like that. But I expected to open up and blossom into a lot of different flavors, maybe complex flavors. But immediately after that initial 10 hits, it got pretty bland for me. I wasn't getting a whole lot of flavors. And I was like, okay, if it continues like this for more than 30 minutes, I'm going to be really turned off by it.
Right.
Occasionally, just when I was giving up my hopes, it surprised me with some smoother and bitter sweet notes that I actually liked, but they were short-lived. Mm-hmm. It was like losing momentum for me.
You wanted a more long-lasting.
Yeah, I was like losing momentum, losing excitement, and then it'd be like, oh, that's nice, and then be like, oh, but it's gone.
It's like when you're with a girl and then she just kind of like brushes her hand up your thigh or on your crotch and then just releases. Yeah. And you go, what the fuck?
Totally like, I'll suck your dick. I'm totally not that
girl. Not going to suck your dick.
Not going to happen tonight. Total Who do you think I am? This is the second date.
As she's like grabbing your inner thigh and rubbing profusely.
And then she goes,
rubbing so much where she's chafing the inside of your thigh.
Yeah. And then she's like, but I wish it wasn't the second date because I would totally blow you right now.
Right.
Like, you fucking tease.
Yeah. That's when you just stick your wiener in her mouth.
Yeah, and say, shut up.
You can't talk. Yeah. I'm not even going to go there. That's Cosby style. And I do not condone that. By the way,
suck this Polish sausage.
No means no.
That's true.
Unless there's
she
a
can't
dick
say
in their
no.
Mouth. God, that's terrible. I'm gonna have to edit that out. But we don't mean it.
We don't mean.
We are advocates for women.
Always ask.
100%. Always. I have a form that I use.
Yeah.
With my own wife, I've been married to her. I still get consent.
I always ask.
That's how much I want to make sure we're both on board.
Yeah, I always ask, but just know that I'm going to ask about 100 times in 1 minute.
Yeah, for sure. Sign here, please. I don't want to. Please sign the bottom of the paper.
Please do it right now.
It's like buying a car from a car dealership. Okay, so I actually very much love the bitter. You know how I am.
Yeah.
Love bitter flavors.
It's pretty bitter.
So I very much admire the bitterness, and I like the bitterness interlaced with the pepper, which is not something I expect in the cigar, but really enjoyed in terms of flavor. I thought there's a nice introduction of like creaminess and a nuttiness that comes probably, I'd say, later in the first third of the cigar, but I do agree with you in terms of like things start to seem to get dulled towards the latter half of the cigar, and even towards the last 15%, I thought they got kind of harsh, where I really enjoyed that bitterness and pepperiness up front. It seemed to get very harsh towards the end. A flavor profile that I thought was it was almost too pungent for me. Yeah. Too pungent not to be enjoyable. So really for me, I could have put this cigar down with 15% of it remaining and been really pleased with the results.
Yeah, and that might be the HVA disease.
It could be definitely the HVA disease. But I think all things considered, I actually really enjoyed the flavor of the cigar because I admire the fact that it had that bitterness interlaced with the pepperness. And I've smoked the cigar like 4 or 5 times just this week alone. Mm-hmm. And like the more I smoke it, the more I enjoy it.
That's good.
I really, really like it. And I love a good Dominican cigar. Ooh, daddy.
Like Madonna, I was a virgin on this one.
Yeah, this was your very first one, wasn't it? Yeah, that's true.
$8, right?
$8. Decent price point.
Let's just say it, right? That's a great price for this new brand.
I think it's perfect for this cigar.
Yeah. It's a great introductory price for the brand. You're not going to think twice about trying it.
Right.
It's a great price.
Plus, the label, I think, really stands out on the shelves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the label alone, I think, is one of which I'd be like, what is that over there? Let me try that cigar. So what did you score it?
Honestly, minus the flavor, which had its on and offs, I gave it a 24 out of 30. But there's no denying that the construction and burn were an amazing part of this cigar. Yeah. I gave it a flat 90.
Wow. So I had obviously one issue challenge with the burn. I gave it a 25 out of 30 in terms of the flavor, and I also scored it a 90.
That's 290.
So we get a 290. We got to tie it at 90s, and actually a really close almost 89, just running up the rear.
Yeah.
So 2 90s and an 89. We've got a tight race going on. Now let's see how this race finishes with
But
the
the
Hiram
question
and
is,
Solomon.
3 down, 1 remaining. Hiram and Solomon, the Grand Architect. Will it take the number 1 spot?
How are we doing on time? Can we power?
We got 12 minutes. We got this.
We can power through. We really went through that one quickly. All right, Chris, as he mentioned earlier, it's the Hyman and Solomon because Chris believes that there is some sort of vaginal secrecy and magic towards this cigar. The Hyman and Solomon, let's get into it. Grand Architect.
There's a reason God gave him a hymen. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. God would never steer us wrong.
Nope.
Like other Hiram and Solomon cigars, this one is actually blended at the Plasencia factory, which is one of my favorite factories, by the way.
It's great.
Absolutely incredible. And people always say, like, oh, would you pay the price for a Plasencia cigar? They're always north of $20. And then here's what I say. You don't like that price? Go and smoke in Hiram and Solomon. Go smoke a Curavari. Go smoke a Crux. There's plenty of places that they blend with because that's literally what they've done for their entire existence up until recently.
Yeah.
Go smoke one of those cigars. You'll still get the same experience. It's worth the price. Let's get into it. This is the Hiram and Solomon Grand Architect, and we smoked this in a Toro. Again, came from the Plasencia factory, and would you know it? It's Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan wrapper,
Yeah.
Nicaraguan binder, and a combination, and I said it before, Nicaraguan and Paraguay tobacco.
Paraguay making 2 spots into this
I
tournament.
wasn't lying when I said I've smoked multiple cigars that have tobacco from Paraguay in them in the recent weeks. And these are just 2 of 3 that I've had.
Yeah.
We smoked this in a Toro 6x52, which isn't uncommon for a Plasencia cigar, and honestly isn't uncommon for a Hiram and Solomon.
Yeah.
They usually come in larger vitolas. At least the ones that most people are smoking
Yeah.
seem to be in that range.
Yeah.
This comes out to us an $11 price point, a little bit elevated in terms of other stuff Plasencia blends for other folks,
But significantly less.
seems reasonable in comparison to the Plasencia brand overall.
Yeah, totally.
Chris, what do you think about the construction?
Built like a Masonic temple, Corey. That's all I can say. Smooth chisel stone is the vibe I got from this cigar. Nice darker wrapper. This is truly their like finale cigar.
Yeah.
They've got like 7 other goddamn cigars.
So, yeah, I mean, yes.
And this is like their finale.
Right.
Right. So we're hoping this is a good one.
Right.
But it is constructed amazingly. Plasencia, giving it off to them. This is an amazing constructed cigar. Beautiful blue label. I think the brand straw and the cigar construction was great.
What can I say other than this is exactly what you expect from a cigar from Plasencia is absolute perfection in construction. Something about their fucking wrappers, and I don't know how they do it, even like these Nicaraguan wrappers, they always seem to be so smooth and symmetrical. It's weird to me how there's no bumps, there's no imbalances, there's no ridges. It's like the smoothest fucking cigars I've ever seen in my life have all come from the Plasencia factory. I don't know what they're doing in terms of construction as far as like quality and like who's actually like rolling these goddamn things, but I think so much time and attention is built around that alone. It's like you kind of know and you can identify when a cigar comes from Plasencia factory, even if it isn't Plasencia branded.
Yeah.
You can kind of look at it and go, oh yeah, that's definitely from those guys. No different than like stuff that comes from Rico Sueño.
Yeah.
I thought the construction on this cigar was absolutely
so good.
flawless.
It's great.
So good.
Yes. But the question is what about the burn, Corey, right? What about the burn? Now, for me, this was a 1-2 puffer. It's a real fucking easy draw. Very thick ash. Smoked immaculately for me. Immaculately.
Right. Yeah.
Here's what I like about this cigar. And these aren't like grading factors, but I always love it. What did I get when I ashed this? The volcanic mountainous peaks.
Oh, yeah.
I love when I ash a cigar and it's like a hot tipped pencil.
Yes, for sure.
I love that.
You could go and brand someone that on the neck with it.
You could draw on them with
That's
their
great.
fucking ash and tobacco.
Yeah.
I love that about a cigar. And typically that just tells me that the bunching and the fillers that are being used in comparison to the wrapper are just such a great combination that you're going to get a real good burn. Here's what I'll say, though, about this cigar. While I did get the volcanic peaks, it was a bit like Pompeii. Peaks exploded, created a giant crater. I had an outage. I had one outage.
You forgot the part that Pompeii killed however many people.
Well, it killed this light.
Yeah, which it was Mount Vesuvius.
Mount Vesuvius
was the volcano. Yeah. Pompeii was the city of which it destroyed.
That's right. Yeah, the volcano. Yeah.
You're welcome for the knowledge.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You got it.
But yes, as soon as it exploded with its volcanic mountainous peaks, as quickly as it diminished into a giant pit.
Yeah.
And I had a relight, and I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was so bizarre. It was like amazing.
Like the fillers just stopped. They were
nothing.
like, and we're gone.
So it did have a relight. Right. It did redeem itself by passing the 5-minute hold test. But yeah, I had this weird outage that I had to relight it.
Interesting. I like the burn on this cigar. I've had a bit of a tight draw, but not anything that was overwhelming. I like the fact that it was a nice, even burn. I thought the consistency of the cigar was where it really shined, which is not a departure from most Plasencia cigars. Being as well constructed as they are, you anticipate that the experience in the burn is going to parallel again with the construction of the cigar, which is exactly what this one did. I did have, again, a little bit of a tight draw, but I thought overall it was pretty good. Which, by the way, the whole overly tight draw thing is like a real sticking point with me. Yeah. So
understandable.
Got to have a point.
You're the reviewer
on there. Yeah.
You're the reviewer.
What did you think about the flavor?
Oh man, I thought the flavors were great. So medium strong spice up front. That's kind of the graduation of how the Hiram and Solomon cigars kind of run. If you've ever smoked the entire lineup, which I have, if you haven't, you should try it. There is truly a graduation of flavors that starts from the very first one, the Fellow Craft,
right,
to the Grand Architect. And it becomes more complex, becomes more bold, becomes more rich and spicy as you go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very methodical approach to the brand. I think that's a really clever way of doing it, and I like it. That said, it does open up to some earthiness and mild creaminess as it kind of mellows out. But you're always going to get those earthy and medium spices throughout the rest of the cigar.
Yeah.
And I thought for me, that is more in line. Out of the 4 we're reviewing today, that is more in line with what I typically go for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like the flavor profile of the cigar. I wasn't overly tickled about it. One of the things that I really like is there's a nice rich smoothness on the onset. Actually pretty similar to the Fellow Craft, of which we smoked before, which is a really highly rated cigar from us. It's very creamy, subtle spice. What I really liked was the woody flavors that you get on the retrohale. I think this is a great cigar to retrohale. It's not overwhelming, but it really kind of brightens everything up. I'd say what I really didn't like about it is it seemed, and maybe this is an expectation I have just because I thought the Fellow Craft was such a good cigar.
Yeah.
There wasn't a whole lot of complexity behind that. It's really what you got in terms of those flavors remained through the cigar. It was very static. I don't think the cigar was overly dynamic as I hoped it would be and as I wanted it to be. It seemed like everything, the saturation was just turned a little bit lower than what I thought and anticipated. But the flavors it imparted were really good. I just wish they were more bright.
I get that.
So I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was insane. I don't think it was overly great.
I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I follow that.
So in terms of the value of the cigar coming in at $11 price point, what did you think it landed?
It's peaking on overpriced for me, but I thought it was a fine price.
I thought it was, if you consider everything in the Plasencia lineup, as far as like the cigars they produce, I'd say this is a bargain.
Yeah.
If you think about it in terms of other cigars that Plasencia blends for, like Cavalier, this is a very much a value cigar, and both you and I believe that Cavaliers are probably one of the best you can get on the market for the price.
Yeah.
I wish they were more distributed. Love Cavalier. So you've got both sides of the spectrum. I think the Hiram and Solomon line kind of lands in the middle of that. So I think it's worth it for the price point, especially because we're talking about a 6x52 with an amazing construction, always flawless construction.
Yeah.
I think you can default that the rest of the experience is probably going to be pretty good.
The question is, will it upset the tide for first between the Powstanie?
Yep, SBC 18
and the Huevo De Oro.
Also coming in at a 90.
At a 90.
So where's this at for you?
For me, bro, I got to tell you, all these cigars landed at great construction outside of the White Series.
Yeah.
And burns were all very competitive. They were all great games from all of these players in this industry.
Yeah.
But I will say, for me, the people that shine just a little brighter in this review, in this week's Boutique Week, is Hiram and Solomon coming in at 91.7%.
Holy shit, I did not think you were going to score it that high. I thought it was a great cigar. I didn't think it was that great. I actually scored it at a 90%, which is going to give us an average score of what?
Like a 90.6
90.6 something, right? But we'll average it out to a 90.5, which would actually put the Hiram and Solomon Grand Architect as our number one cigar, followed by a tie, which we're going to have to break in a community score, I feel like, of the SBC 18.
Yep.
That with the Oro de Huevo from Camaleon. And then we've got the Cavalier White Series and last, which actually a pretty respectable score between. Actually, this is probably the closest we've ever had in terms of a race.
The spread are very tight.
Very tight.
Very tight spread.
Yep. Yeah, there you have it. I think we'll do the tiebreaker in the community scores, which I'll put out anyway at the beginning of the week. This is a great boutique week.
Yeah.
This is number 3 that we've had and arguably my favorite.
Yeah, totally.
For sure. We greatly appreciate everybody listening. What do we have on time? I don't even know if I have 2 minutes. Is that why you did this?
Yeah, that's why I did
like
it.
The vagina?
That's why I was like, vagina.
Yeah.
We got vagina.
Whoa. Like the fucking claw. Oh, the claw. Right in the fucking, one in the pooper and one in the vooper.
Yeah.
I don't know what you call a vagina.
This is how I rub vagina.
One in the beehole and one in the squish mitten. Just boop, boop. Anyway, yeah, so that does it on time. This is actually a pretty long episode. We're at like an hour and 30. Just crazy. And you have somewhere to be. I feel like it just kept you here. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Actually, definitely my favorite boutique week. Love recording on a Friday. It's so much better. Thank you for Old Forester for supporting the show.
Thanks for being a sponsor.
You guys have been a wonderful sponsor. Thank you so much. You've done just a great deal for us. So we appreciate it greatly.
Thanks to Progresso and Allstate.
Yeah, Chunky Soup. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back at you next week with episode 146. See you, everyone.